back, guys. Back at the shop, about to get on the dyno with a couple of C10s. We're going to tune on them. Both of them have E67 computers. Both of them have crate LS3s with some big camshafts. So let's just go and jump in it. We're going to pull the first one in. These trucks are badass, so let's get them in here. So here's the truck we're working on today. As y'all can see, I mean, it's about as perfect as it comes. I mean, weld wheels, wheelwood brakes, front and rear. This is factory paint. Obviously it's been buffed and ceramic coated. But I mean, you just don't get patina like that. Like, that's rare. But anyways, also the interior is done. So the interior is, I mean, just as nice. Got the Dakota digital gauges in here. Anyway, so let's get under the hood and check this out. All right, so we have, this is a crate LS3. Now this was the 430 horsepower version. It's been upgraded with a BTR Red Hot Cam. So it's got a set of long tube headers on it, 3-inch exhaust. This is a BP automotive harness. And this truck actually has a 4L65 trans in it. So I think it's one of the GM upgraded units, so it should be more than enough for this truck. But I mean, just a super clean truck. So anyways, let's get to tuning. All right, so as always, let's hop in, pull the read file out of it. This truck, I've actually already tuned the engine side of things. This customer, he builds a lot of trucks, and a lot of the trucks he'll just use pretty much the same combination, which is the best way to do it. Like, honestly, any shops, if you're watching, if you're not trying to reinvent the wheel on every single truck, you'd be surprised at how quick you can get stuff done, how much easier it is. So again, this is just a crate LS3 with a Red Hot Cam. I've got a base file that we can load in. The truck can be driven. It actually makes power right away. Like, everything just happy. So anyways, we're gonna pull the file out of it because this one is a E38 ECU with a T42 TCM from GM. So it's kind of like a 07 to 13 pickup truck combination. That would be like a 07 09 5.3 truck with a 4L60, or a 07 to like 13 4.8 truck. So we're gonna pull the read file of this thing, and this truck shouldn't have any issues. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna pull it straight up on the rollers, and we'll get to doing some power pulls. So let's roll into the truck. Oh, we got some drop spindles on there. Kind of curious. So don't see any crazy leaks. 1 7/8 headers. Got 3-inch exhaust. Mandrel bent to an X, and some Borla S-type mufflers. These mufflers, like, this exhaust combination sounds so rowdy. 4 9-inch rear. So we've got a nice steel drive shaft. So that'll be good. Tires are obviously new. We have a fuel pressure regulator under here. There is no vacuum reference on there, so it is essentially deadheaded. So our injector data will reflect that. All right, so this one, we're gonna pull out this passenger side upstream, and I will show you guys how to get this ECU into open loop. How many of y'all like Squarebodies? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'm definitely a Squarebody fan. This customer also will normally do like some 67 to 72 models. He'll do some the earlier like 65 model trucks. But there's just something about a Squarebody to me. y'all know the deal. 4 straps. So 2 going front to back, 2 is the X. This truck, I gotta be careful of the brake lines. Got some pretty brake lines on it. All right, so up on the dyno and the red LS3 powered C10. Got the wideband in, everything is hooked up. Dyno is in vehicle simulation mode. So right now what we need to do is we need to get this truck over into open loop. So to get an E38 or E67 computer, so your Gen 4 stuff into open loop, you're gonna click engine, you're gonna click fuel, you're gonna click oxygen sensors, and then you're gonna click this O2 readiness test, or O2 readiness. And we're gonna make this the number 493. That just means that coolant temp has to be above that for the oxygen sensor to have any type of feedback. So got that done. I'm going to go ahead on and send this file in. I'm also going to get my mouse to show us a little highlight because it doesn't have the little ring around right now. So I'm going to send that in and we will come back and get this thing actually rolling on the dyno. So just load in that file to get this thing over in open loop. So far the truck actually, everything seems to be working good. The only problem we're actually having, which I really can't show you right now because the BIM module to the Dakota Digital Gauges isn't plugged in, but we've now had multiple BP Automotive engine and trans kits, engine like computer and trans computer kits that are getting wired up to these LS3s with a 4L style trans, and we cannot get the gear indicator to work. I spent probably an hour and a half on this thing this morning just trying to get the gear indicator to work, and it just, they're saying it's a tuning issue. I honestly think it's an operating system mismatch, but either way, that's where we're at. So currently everything's looking good. Obviously the truck is going to show a lean condition right now. Again, as I explained to you guys before, a wideband is going to show lean traditionally with a large camshaft. Now, we may actually be lean, but we aren't going to be able to know until we get to actually roll and get some airflow moving across this thing. So let's put this truck into drive and let's go for a little bit of a rip. So as of right now, we're definitely looking lean. Yeah, we're still lean, so I'm gonna have to make a math change. It's kind of strange because V-table's matching up, math is matching up. It's almost acting like the injector sizing would be wrong, which the only way that could happen on a crate motor is if the fuel pressure isn't set correctly. So let me slide under the truck and I'm gonna check fuel pressure because we're off quite a bit actually. So they may have this fuel pressure regulator set like 43 or something. I have to get under the truck and look. So anyways, I'm gonna check that and I'll be right back. Double checked fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is actually at 64 psi. So I adjusted the injector data to reflect the 64 psi, which I can do a video on that. I actually need to do a video on scaling Gen 4 injectors and stuff anyways. So, but it's also very possible that this intake tube, even though he used the same diameter as always, it is shaped a little bit different. The map is in a different location, a little bit closer to the throttle body. So that could have us thrown off. So anyway, so we're just going to go ahead on and drive this thing. So far the truck's actually been really easy to mess with. So I'm going to fully steady state the map here in just a little bit, but for right now I'm just going to kind of just lightly roll through and see how close we are on things. It looks like we got some turbulence down low. Oh yeah, I haven't set up shift points in this thing either. We have a little bit of turbulence. Let's go down second gear. A little turbulence down low. It looks like up top we're starting to get better, and that's going to reflect more of the actual diameter of the map anyways. So what I'm going to do, let's throw this thing into second gear, TCC on, and I'm just going to roll into it. Alright, she just instantly blew the tires off, but the fuel was there, so it's safe to do pulls on. So I'm going to stop this data log. Yeah, we were just a little bit rich up top. Oh, and then the truck hadn't actually gone down. Okay, so I got you. I see what happened. So if y'all look, when I clicked second gear and locked it in, apparently it didn't go all the way down. It was actually only in third. So when I stomped down on it, then it pulled itself down in the second. So you'll see this green where it's a hump. You'll see the wheel slip there. So I'm gonna adjust some fueling on this thing via MAF. And because we're actually somewhat close on VE, honestly. Like once I get the MAF curve close, the V table looks like it's gonna be somewhat close too. So all that stuff should be good, and then we'll do an actual like legit lower speed pull, and we'll sweep through. All right, so back up in the truck, just did that little partial pull. Still in vehicle simulation mode, but we're gonna do kind of a slower roll, and I'm gonna roll into the throttle, and then we'll do an actual second gear pull. So I'm gonna actually film it from the back too. So we'll see where we kind of end up at. I need to swap out my MPVI cables. So I still haven't wired up my MPVI 3's ProLink, so I'm still using my MPVI 2 when I run my Ballinger wideband. Alright. Alright, so we're in second gear. Inverter's locked. Wideband, everything's working. Alright, let's roll into it. Alright, so if you notice, I forgot to make a change in the TCM, and so I'll show you guys. So if you're trying to load your trucks in on the dyno, like what I just did where it'll hold, you notice that at 5,500 RPM and all of a sudden unlock the converter and it sounds like it hit VTEC. What that actually is that is a parameter in the TCM. I'll show you right now. So you'll go under trans, general, and it's commanded gear control limits. So let's want to make this 8,000, and I'll make it 200 mile per hour. And anyways, we still need to do some fuel changes. If you notice, we're a little bit lean on coming in to the throttle, and it finally did kind of clear up a little bit, and it was starting to look halfway decent. So I'm going to make some changes to the MAF. If you notice down here, you'll actually see my V table is going to be basically correct once the MAF is corrected. So I'm going to make these changes, and then we'll do another rip. Alright, so getting plugged back in, just did that little test rip. So we're going to try to stretch it out a little bit farther this time. I went ahead on and made a fuel change on the MAF. And again, if y'all haven't seen how to do that, I've got several videos on making adjustments to the MAF curve. So just check out one of my other videos. I'll link one. All right, let's do a rip. Apparently I forgot to flash the TCM. So I flashed the ECM, forgot to flash the TCM. So let me flash that TCM real quick, and we'll try that one again. All right, getting the scanner pulled back up. Flash the TCM that time for sure. So let's get this thing. Let's do another pull. I mean, I'd like to do an actual like up to 6,400 RPM pull before we actually do power pulls. All right, let's let it rip. That one looked pretty clean. Truck's showing a touch of knock. Real small amount though, 0.07. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. This thing's essentially running on a timing table that's pretty similar to like a 525 crate motor. Again, as you can tell, power-wise, I'm not leaning on this thing real hard right now at all. Alright, so I'm going to make some math changes real quick, and then we'll actually do some power pulls. Alright, so this will be our first legitimate power pull. We're going to do a sweep from 3,000 to 6,500 RPM, and I do have simulated inertia on very aggressively. So even though we're going to be in a second gear pull, it's going to be a pretty long pull. So everything looks good. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Still showing a touch of knock. Again, this is a stock 525 crate motor timing table. High octane and low octane is active. So let's get out and see what kind of power we made. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna get logged back into the truck. So I had a little bit of an issue. The dyno spit out some kind of crazy low number. It was like 354 horsepower, which is not really a big deal. But this combination, as I told you guys earlier in the video, I've tuned this combination for this customer I don't know how many times, and it's just that power number is not adding up to me. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead on and keep proceeding. I'm going to actually put some timing in it because obviously that was low timing compared to how we normally run these things. So I'm going to put a little bit, or I've put a little bit of timing in there, and we'll see how this thing does now. And if the dyno still spits out a low number, y'all just may have to understand. And because we've actually got a new tower for the dyno sitting here, they just haven't actually installed it yet. So I mean, it could be a dyno issue. The fuel flow on here shows that the truck's still making over 500 flywheel. So anyways, I'm gonna get this started. Dyno's ready to go. So let's do a 3,000 to 6,500 pull. Alright, get this thing slowed down. Let's see where the dyno is at. Yeah, I think either this dyno is just reading low today. I think there's something wrong with the simulated inertia on this dyno. Anyways, we can get out and check the numbers, but y'all ain't gonna like them because I already don't like them. Alright, so 368.6 horsepower, 336 torque. So this torque is low. Obviously horsepower is calculated off of torque, so I'm going to assume there's something wrong here. Either way, we saw a gain. The truck picked up like 14 wheel and like 2 degrees. So I'm going to put a little bit more in there, and we're showing a peak at 64, 62, which means that this motor may want to be revved even higher. So I'm going to go in and move this up on the dyno. And so we'll do a 6,700 RPM pull, and I'll put just a touch more timing in there, and we'll see if we can pick up any more. All right, so we're back in the truck. Again, I want y'all to understand that even though this dyno is spitting out numbers that doesn't make sense to me on this combination, I can still watch for gains. So gains is all I'm concerned with right now. Worst case scenario, this customer can bring it back once we have the new tower installed on the dyno. So again, the truck's a ripper as it is. So we're going to go ahead and do another pull. Everything else is looking good. Only thing I did on this one is it should have a little bit more timing up top, and I leaned it out just a touch up top. So anyways, let's I'll get the rear camera going. Let's do another hit. again, that was a 6,700 RPM pull. Truck sounded clean. Obviously, I'll check the video and see how it looks out the tailpipe. Still showing what appears to be a touch of knock right here. It's still that same 0.0 or 0.7, pretty much no matter how much timing I have in the thing right there. So I'm going to just consider that as false. So I'm going to get out and let's check these numbers again. All right, so that pull up to 374. Again, I still think it's off. This torque number is just insanely low. So again, I'm not concerned about power numbers, but I'm gonna get in this thing and we'll test the 2-3 shift to make sure it shifts like it's supposed to. And then I'll do my final tuning on the closed loop stuff and sleep through the math one time and I'll be done. All right, so next what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit of trans tuning on this thing. I don't think, let's see. I don't think it'll hook from a dig. So let's just get to, now I've already done the shift calculations on this thing. If you were curious on the 4L60 stuff, if you go to my video that I uploaded yesterday, I'll put the link right here. You can go through and actually, I show how to use a Blue Cat tool for setting up shift points. So this one, it's going to downshift at 41 miles an hour. So let's get above 41. Alright, so this ought to work good. So we'll let this thing go through a 2-3 shift. I'm shooting for like between 65 and 6,600 RPM. Alright, vehicle simulation's on. Let's hammer down. So that wasn't bad. Definitely had quite a bit of RPM drop. I mean, we went 50 or 6,500 or so down to like 4,600. I mean, that's almost 2,000 RPM drop. So this thing definitely wants a looser converter for actual like all-out power. But it made the shift and the shift felt okay. So as in case y'all are curious too, as far as the power number goes, I mean, we are at 74% injector duty cycle, all using LS3 injectors. So you can think about that. Also, the torque model is showing that this thing's right around 512 horsepower. It's not 100% accurate by any means, but the injector duty cycle is. So these injectors would support big power on gasoline. So to be at 74%, I mean, we're all over where this thing needs to be at power-wise. So that looks good. Yeah, I'm going to unstrap this thing and take it out on the street. Alright, so we're about to wrap this thing up and get it out on the streets. I'm going to turn closed loop back on. So to do that, just make sure you guys caught it. Fuel, oxygen sensors, O2 readiness, ECT. We made this 493 earlier. We're going to make this -40. And we're going to send that in. Then we're going to go for a test drive. Alright, so files loaded in. Let's go for a test drive. Fortunately for me, the truck has air conditioner. Let's see how good it works. Yeah, the exhaust is hitting this 9-inch in here. So I guess the customer's going to raise the rear end back up just a little bit. Nothing crazy. This thing drives killer. Steering feels good. Brakes feel good. This thing's driving so nice right now. If it wasn't for the exhaust being basically on the rear axle, I mean, it's, yeah, such a nice truck. All right, we're gonna try to check the 1-2 shift. I'm assuming the truck's just gonna blow the tires off. Hopefully not. But I want to check the 1-2 wide open throttle shift. So we're gonna get it to like 30. And hope it'll hook from like a 30. All right, so here's 28. Let's see if it'll hook. Made the shift. Truck's definitely ripping. Completely blew the tires off just then. Yeah. I'd say it's probably a little bit more than 374 horsepower for sure. All right, so just pulling up this data log real quick. I got stopped into a parking lot. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it made the shift right at 6,600, which is what I wanted. Had that touch of knock retard that shows up when I rolled into it, but obviously it went away. Everything went good. If you look down here, V and math and dynair, everything is all following along. So truck's a ripper, no doubt about it. So I'm going to get this thing started back up and we're gonna head to the shop. Just in case y'all want to see what the C10 is like, I tuned this thing on Holly a couple weeks ago, but I mean, it's bagged. It's got big ass wheel tubs in it. Just here, I'll zoom out some, make it a little bit easier. But anyways, this one is on Holly. It has a supercharged 58X 5.3. So today we were going to put on the dyno because this truck actually come to me on the dyno before, but he actually had a fuel pressure issue. Come to find out the fuel filter was actually on backwards. So anyways, he's got a good base file in here now. The truck runs great. We were going to put on the dyno to see what kind of power it makes, and obviously the dyno is spitting out lower numbers than what it should be. So anyways, only thing I have to do on this one is set up the speedometer output in Holly. So I guess I'll just do it as like a little bit of a bonus in this video. So let's get plugged in. We're in the blue C10 now. I'm gonna show you guys how to do the speedo output enable. The only thing on this truck is we actually are gonna have to figure out which wire it's hooked to. This truck was purchased, anyway, I'm open here, I'll just walk through this real quick. Open up V3, you're gonna click download from ECU when you're actually plugged into a vehicle, and it's gonna pull your file out of it. Anyways, the truck was purchased, already built, and apparently he had no way of getting the original tune file. So last time I was here, I guess the battery had gone dead and it lost the tune file, so I had to start from scratch. So they have no idea how this stuff is wired, so we're just gonna have to test for it. So anyway, so if you want to add a speedometer output to Holly, you're going to go under your transmission ICF, and you're going to see the speedometer output enable. You're going to make sure it's checked, and then we're going to come over here to our pin map, and we're going to see where it's at. So speedo right now isn't showed to be hooked up to anything, so we just need to take this, click it, and drag it, and this is the only available wire. So we're going to send that in. And it's going to have me cycle the key. And please, if y'all see Holly tell you to cycle the key, please do. You've got to power it down, give it 5 seconds, and then power it back up. All right, guys, hope you guys liked my video on this C10. We were going to do the other C10, but realistically with the dyno showing, like it was there just for some minor tweaks on Holly. It's got a supercharged 5.3 in it. But with the dyno reading low, I'll just have them bring it by another day once we get the dyno where we know for a fact it's doing what it's supposed to do. Anyways, that's a pretty sweet little deal right there. I honestly thought it was an E67. By the way, that is an E38 computer, if I didn't say that earlier in the video. But you guys are leaving me awesome comments. I mean, I'm glad y'all are happy with my content. I'm going to keep bringing it out to you. So thanks again for the likes and the subscriptions. And again, leave me a comment if you have something else that you want me to address. But otherwise, guys, I'll see y'all on Monday.